Capital is one of those ABCs of franchising. You got to have enough capital in order to be successful. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Franchise Feedback with Ray Fanning and my dear friend, Terry Coker. Say hello, Terry.
Hey, how you doing, everybody, this morning? Thank you, Ray. Once a week or so, we go to the mailbag, right? We pull out a question about franchising. And in our last episode, we started talking about the money questions, which is how much money can I make in a franchise? That's a biggie, right, Ray?
It's a huge one.
Never hear that one? Yeah, and so we're going to stay on this topic because it's such a deep topic. And we're going to try and just give you some general information, okay? Today we want to talk about the investment level, okay? How much does it cost to invest in a franchise? And there's no push button answer to that, right? A brick and mortar franchise in the Northeast is going to be different than a home-based franchise in the Midwest, is going to be different from a muffler shop in the Pacific Northwest. So, you know, the answer is it varies, right, Ray?
Absolutely, Terry. The process is the same. You get the information to make an informed decision by going through a step-by-step process and talking to franchisees. That's where the rubber hits the road. You talk to the franchisees of all different ages and ilk. You know, been in it 20 years, someone who just started a year ago, different parts of the country. There's things to be learned from everybody. Very successful franchises, I want to learn what they're doing, right? Those who are struggling, I want to learn what's going on there and see how it applies to me. Terry, I want to ask you particularly, obviously you talk to the franchisees, and that's a huge, important part. There's another part that I think you might want to speak to where you can get some numbers. You want to elaborate?
Yeah, it's the legal document that comes from the franchisor. They're required to give that to you upon an investigation. And while it's not required to put in earnings information, financial performance representations, or what they're called, it's mandatory, but most franchisors do it today, right? So you should find 3 sets of monies in there that you need to start any franchise anywhere. First is the franchise fee. This is a one-time fee that you pay to the franchisor to become a licensee or a franchisor in their system. Generally speaking, those contracts last for about 10 years. That would be the norm, okay? But there's very different terms on those depending on the types of franchise. The second set of money is what it costs to start the business. Legal description of that is the initial investment. It appears in the item 7. And once again, if you're going to start a muffler shop in Florida, or you're going to start a donut shop in San Bernardino, or you're going to start a home-based consulting business in Dubuque, Iowa, you're going to have different costs, right? And then when you see that number, it's going to be a large range. So you may look at it and go, well, that isn't useful. Well, it is, okay? But it requires an investigation. And the third set of money is working capital. This is how much money do you need in your bank account to pay the lease, pay the utilities, hire the employees, stock the inventory, whatever is the required inventory, the required customer acquisition method for those that are that particular franchise and those around it in that system. Working capital. Don't undercut yourself on working capital, okay? Don't think that you're going to be the best franchise ever and squeeze out, okay? Look at how long it takes the longest, okay? You know, and give yourself a little buffer there. Those are really the 3 sets of monies that you're going to need for any franchise anywhere. That make sense, Ray?
It absolutely does, Terry. The only thing I'd add, in addition to what you just said, is about God is in the details there. So pay particular attention when you're looking at FPRs, franchise performance representations, where the details are, because the details are incredibly important, and particularly on the amount of working capital you have. See what the details are, because many of these franchise agreements do it how much working capital you need for a set amount of time. And if it takes longer to reach break even, you may need even more. And I know Terry and I always would like you to make sure that you have more than enough capital, because capital is one of those ABCs of franchising. You got to have enough capital in order to be successful. So that's all I'd add, Terry.
Easy for you to say, right? Jokingly. But it's easy for us to say because we do this every day, right? We're franchise matchmakers. We work with people that are looking for small business ownership opportunities. We match them and then we mentor you through the process. And so if you've liked this episode of Franchise Feedback, leave a comment for us. If you'd like a document about the money questions, we have one ready for you. You can direct message us, leave a comment, find our number, pick up the phone and call us. We'd love to talk to you. We'll have a Q&A session where we'll try and answer all the questions we can for you about you, okay? And we're going to stay on this topic in our next episode. So we'll be back soon with another Franchise Feedback. Thanks, Ray.
Thank you, Terry. You're the best.